Well, it is September 3rd, 2025. We are in the Flats, the East Bank in downtown Cleveland at the Music Box Supper Club. Tonight, Lil John in person talking about his days at Channel 8 with Big Chuck and Hoolihan. Nice night here, September 3rd, 2025. We are in the Flats in Cleveland. Music Box Supper Club. Tonight's star is Lil John Rinaldi. Hello. How's it going?
All right, John has a special request, right?
Well, not a special request. Like, all of you have seen me walk around here and everything, and so you've seen me around on that. But I have to ask you, you guys all know each other? No, you don't. Okay. I know this sounds corny, but it'll help get things started. Everyone here raise their right hand. A little Polish kid over there. It's the other one. Anyway, when I count to 3, turn to the person on your right and shake hands. Mike, I can't believe that. You know what the lady back there said?
What?
She said that was dumb.
So, brilliant.
So, how many think that was dumb? Raise your hands. How many think that wasn't dumb? Raise your hands. How many think raising your hands is dumb? Raise your hands. Okay, now I'd like to start the show, and this is audience participation. Mike will tell you everything. So, first of all, I'd like to call 2 guys out of the audience, these 2 big guys right here. And if they come on stage.
Come on up, guys. Come on up over here.
Now they're big guys, as you can see. And
oh, they're going to come directly up.
I'd help you. Don't fall back. So in case you guys don't know, these 2 guys are with the Midnight Movie people, so they watch midnight movies. But the reason I have them up here is I want you to put me on this stool.
Because I refuse to do that.
Thank you, thank you.
Welcome to the Music Box, everybody.
Thank you.
I'm Mike Miller. I'm the managing partner here at the Music Box, and you're all have a special place. This is the first show of our 10th season of Cleveland Stories. And if anybody wants to start doing this starting next week, that's okay. Listen, guys, seriously, this I'm so proud of this series and the fact that it still has so much vibrancy and has been going so strong. 10 years, over 400 of these over the last 10 years, guys. So you've got something to stick on your refrigerator when you get home. So very excited about the lineup this year. A couple thank yous. I know if you've been here before, you've heard these. Believe it or not, Yingling is a sponsor of this series. They give us money to help promote it, and therefore I put their beer on sale on the menu. So take advantage of that offer from Yingling. But more importantly, from day one, I approached the, at the time, Western Reserve Historical Society, one of the oldest historical societies in the country. A couple years later, they changed their name to the Cleveland History Center. If you haven't been to this museum on the east side, right around the museum complex on the east side, it's one of the best museums we have here in Cleveland. I highly recommend it. You have friends in town, yeah, take them to the Rock Hall, but take them to the Cleveland History Center. It's freaking amazing. They've supported us from day one, so a big round of applause for those guys. Now, guys, I kind of screwed up and had some dates screwed up. You know, age is coming a part of this series. And I just added a date that I just left blank on the calendar for next week. How many have been to the Front Row Theater? All right, this speaker next week was the promotional marketing person for them for their entire history. She met every single act. She was backstage for every single show. Woo! Does she have stories? So come next week, guys. We need to fill it in because Mike forgot the date. All right? How are you, John?
I'm fine. You already took 10 minutes of my time.
Keep counting. All right, so you know what? Again, 10 years, John, and I have opened all 400 with the same question. Where were you born? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school?
Okay. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, at the home for unwed mothers, and which is a lie because I was born in St. Anne's Hospital, but then they moved, and what moved in was a home for unwed mothers. So I was born January 19th, 1946, so I'm 79 years old. I'll be 80 in January. Born and raised in Cleveland, went through all Cleveland public schools, with Anthony Wayne, Audubon, and John Adams. So I'm a Cleveland born straight through.
All right. Well, let's kick off. Talk a little bit about coming out of school. How did you get into the jewelry business? I mean, how'd that come about?
Well, the jewelry business was like any other business I ever got into by a fluke. So, what it was is, when I was going to college, I went to the Ohio State University.
Yeah!
And believe it or not, I graduated. And a little sidebar is, I lived with Woody Hayes' son. So another little sidebar is, so I went to Michigan with him, I went to the Rose Bowl with him, and I got a million stories about Woody Hayes. But, okay, we'll take that. How I got in the jewelry business was, I had an advertising class, and you had to put your hand in a bucket and pull out whatever you pulled out, and that was what you had to do an advertising campaign out. And I pulled Boulevard watches, Accutrons. So I sent 20 questionnaires out to 20 jewelers all across the state, and do you carry Accutron, do you not? And then 19 questions that they'd answer. One person answered it back. And one guy, and it was Maurice Nichols. And he was the manager of the Colin Hubbard store in Severance, which happened to be right across the street from where we lived. At the time, my parents lived at the time in Cleveland Heights. So I went back and I thanked him for sending me the thing, and he said to me, he said, do you need a job? And I said, no. I was home for summer break. I said I was working as an electrician's helper, so I said, but I'll work part-time. He said, okay. So I worked, the first night I showed up, they gave me the keys and showed, okay. And this guy comes in the store, and he said, I'd like to see that opal pin in the window. I didn't know an opal from a diamond. So, okay. So I went up there, and I know what a pin is. Okay, so I got it out, and I sold it to him, and it was $150. I still remember the price. Now the manager went crazy. I got all these salesmen, and this guy just walks in and he sells, and this and that. And he saw something in me, and whatever he saw in me, he liked. Because when I went back to school, like every 3 months, he would send me something. He would send me like an eyepiece, diamond tweezers, and then I'd go back and work with him again the following summer. And so this went on for like a couple years. And then I graduated, and I worked for the state of Ohio. And then I still worked part-time at Colin Hubbard. But the state of Ohio was not exactly thrilling, okay? So I'd have gone postal. But, so
That would have been a story in and of itself. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd have gone postal. My job was relocation advisor, so I have to say, I-480, all those houses are gone. I bought them. And then on West 7th and Starkweather, when the freeway came around, I bought those too. Okay. And we had to meet with the people. We'd have to talk to them, and you'd say, hey, how long you living here? Not count tomorrow because the freeway's coming through. but anyway, we'd go there, and nobody wanted you to find them a house. That was my job, find a house for them. So you'd have to go there and measure the square foot. This was way before computers and things like that. And then you'd have to find 3 comps in the area. If you found 3 comps in the area, then you'd say, okay, you can move here, here, and here. And they don't, people want that. So, but I was allowed to give $5,000 if I couldn't find a comp. So my deal was I just went in and said, you all have $5,000. Okay. Everybody liked me. So in the meantime, I stood, but there was nothing to do because you had 30 people. And if one moved, then you got another one. So every week you had to call them and say, but it was boring. After an hour, you did 30 phone calls. I mean, and the next day you call the other people. And they always said, no, no, no. I don't think I found one person a house, and I worked there for 3 years. So anyway, then I decided I was going to go full-time with the jewelry business. And that's how I wound up in the jewelry business.
All right. Well, there you go. Well, wait a minute. So, Colin Howard, but when did you open your own?
Well, okay. I opened my own in 1980.
Oh, okay. So after...
Yeah, 12 years I worked for Colin Hubbard.
All right.
And then the rest of the time I worked at my own store.
All right. Super. So this is after you had, let's, again, roll into the next chapter, which is how the hell did you go from jewelry to doing skits on TV?
Well, if it wasn't for jewelry, I wouldn't be on TV. And if I didn't leave the state and go full-time with Colin Hubbard, I wouldn't be on TV. Because I don't know how many of you remember Dick Blake. Yeah, okay, well, he's still around. And he's still teaching etiquette and dance and everything for old people who want to go to their weddings. But and he's still dressing dapper. He's looking good. So anyway, he came in the Colin Hubbard. He came in the store, and he had his ring repaired, and we cracked his cat's eye. We broke it. So he came in, and he wanted money. And replace it, and we wanted to replace it, saying that we're a jewelry store, not a bank. Okay. So when he would come in, he was very nice. He never argued or yelled or anything like that. And he would come in, but nobody wanted to wait on him. So me being the young salesman, say, go make him laugh, go make him laugh. Okay. So I had to go up there, hey, what's going on? And he goes, do you like to be funny? I go, yeah. He goes, well, I know these guys, Hoolihan and Big Chuck. So I pull my card, I says, tell them to give me a call. Okay. Well, unbeknownst to me, Dick used to call every couple weeks to Chuck to say, because he had a dance studio too. He had a dance studio that for kids and adults and everything. And it was a big feather in his cap if he could get one of his kids on the show, then he could announce, or as seen on the Man and Big Chuck show. Okay. And so he called Chuck and he said, do you need anybody? And Chuck said, I need a little girl. And, yeah, you know where we're going with that. And I said, and he said, no, but I have a little guy. And Chuck said, who is it? And he said, John Rinaldi. Now, in Chuck's mind, to show you what a small world this is, in Chuck's mind, he thought Dr. Rinaldi, it's his son. Well, that's my uncle. And it was Dr. And it was Chuck's doctor.
Oh, wow.
And he brought Chuck in the world good, and brought his first 2 kids in the world too. So he said, oh, I'll call him. So he calls the jewelry store, and I answer the phone, Mr. Rinaldi, may I help you? And he goes, John Rinaldi? I said, yeah. He goes, Big Chuck here. Yeah, right. Yeah. Everybody calls it. Meanwhile, I call people now and say, Lil John's here. But so he said, we're going to do a skit. Would you do a skit? I said, oh, sure, no problem. Okay. He goes, I'll tell you what, I'll send you everything in the mail. So I didn't get a thing. So he calls up. And he goes, hey, you get that stuff? You get it? I said, I didn't get anything. He goes, well, we could do without it. He goes, here's what we need. You're going to be a girl. We need a wig. We need a dress. And as he's going through the checklist, I'm going, I got that. A dress? I got that. Combat boots? I got those. Okay. And as it turned out, I used my, the wig was somebody else's, but the dress was my sister's. Okay. And the combat boots, all my guys came back from Nam. They all had combat boots. So I said, I got all that. He said, okay, we're going to meet at Bonnie's Lounge on 220th and Lorraine. Now, I lived on the east side of Cleveland. That's like taboo. Now, you got to understand, this is 50-some years ago. It was 1969. Okay. So I said, all right, I'll do it. So I gathered up 3 guys, 3 of my buddies, and we go over there. So we get to Bonnie's Lounge, and I looked it up in the phone book, by the way. There was a Bonnie's Lounge. Okay. So I looked up in the phone book. So we go there. Walk to the door, pull the door, and it's locked. I go, damn. He got me. Okay. So anyway, so the door opens like that much, and Chuck looks out, and he goes, "Are you John Rinaldi?" I say, he goes, "Big Chuck." He goes, "Come on in." And my 3 buddies come in. He locks the door. Okay. And that's a Saturday night. And I did skits for over 50 years. We never did one on Saturday night. That was the first one. And we never, Fox, at that time it was WJW, picked up the bar bill for anybody that was in the place, but for beer. Not hard drinks or anything like that. But if you left, you couldn't come back in. And there were no cell phones, so you couldn't call anybody. And you couldn't go to the phone. Okay, so got dressed, and my buddies were there. They're having a great time drinking free beer and everything. And so, in that skit, if you would see it, it's called Bridget the Midget. In the background is Chuck's wife, Chuck's sister-in-law, and the director's wife. Okay. And basically, that's how we got all our people in our skits, is people that we know. So anyway, after about 20 minutes, Chuck comes up to me and he goes, "Hey," he says, "in another 15, 20 minutes, you're going to lose the audience." I go, "No way." And I was a little cocky for a kid that was 22, 23. But that's how I was. So anyway, I started flipping my skirt. I started doing all So we did the skit. And for all you people that don't know, so every minute you see on TV is an hour. Because not only you have to do it. You have to tape it, you have to rewind it, you have to go through post-production and put it on. So if you see a 2-minute skit, that's 2.5 hours worth of work to do that. But that's what nobody really realizes. They think, oh, we did this, you know, ain't big deal, 2 minutes. So, plus we had to get there and get back. So, speaking of
Did
that,
they pay you for this?
yes, I did. Oh, here's to help, folks. The more you drink, the funnier I get.
How much did you get paid for that first skit? Do you remember?
That one was free. That one was free. Okay. And I will say this: that WW Fox 8, they paid well. They really did. I made $12 for every skit.
Now, all right, so let's jump into that. This is 1969, first skit, little girl, skirt, dress. You did 10 years worth of skits because, you know, Hoolihan,
Right.
it was Hoolihan and Big Chuck at that point,
Right.
correct?
Right.
And so you did 10 years of skits with these guys. Did they ever pay you more than $12?
No. That was the union rate.
Was it really?
Now I will tell you another story about the union. My favorite story. Okay. So after being on about 4 times on TV, I get a phone call at the jewelry store. And the guy goes, "Are you John Rinaldi?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "My name's Ken Bickle. I'm the head of AFTRA." And I go, "Huh?" And he goes, "American Federation of Television and Radio Artists." He goes, "Oh," he said, I saw you on the Hoolihan and Big Chuck show. I was all excited. Somebody saw me, knew who I was. He goes, "Would you like to join the union?" I said, "No." Okay. I said, "I'm never going to do anything but this." I'm thinking. And he goes, "Okay, thank you." Hangs up. 10 minutes later, Chuck calls. "I can't use you anymore." And at that time, Fox 8 was a union station. I said, "You can't use me anymore." "Why?" He goes, "You refused to join the union." I said, "I didn't refuse. He asked me if I wanted to join the union. He didn't say I had to join the union." Okay. So I called him back. I said, "I'll join the union." And it was $150 at the time. Okay. So I would get my $12 check. And after I paid, you know, $4 to park. And I would send it straight, I would just endorse it and send it straight to AFTRA. And after and I wasn't on every week. I mean, I wasn't on every week, okay, so.
They propose Big Chuck and Lil John to you.
Well, what it is I got a call from the general manager of Fox 8 and the secretary, and she said that, and my mind is going now, I can't think of the guy's name, but he wants to see you. I go, "Why are you going to see me? I never met the guy in my life," okay. Plus, I'd go in the station through the back door. I freelanced. I was an employee. So I'd go in the back door, go in the studio, and then go out the back door. The only time I deviated if I have to go to the bathroom. So I was never on the second floor. I was never anywhere. There was no reason for me to be there. So I go to the station and I go see the guy. And Flynn, that was his last name. And he goes, "Hey, do you want to be the co-host of Little Big Chuck?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Go down the hall and give an interview to Ray Hart." That was it. That was it. So I gave the interview to Ray Hart. He was a press photographer, a reporter at the time. So I go back to the jewelry store and I tell my wife, "Hey, I got the job." And she goes, "How much you getting paid?" I go, "I have no idea."
$13.
It wasn't much. It wasn't much.
Well, how talk a little bit. How did they handle negotiations? I mean, did you eventually? Because
Okay. Okay, if I tell you this, and it's the truth.
don't tell anybody.
No, you can tell anybody. I don't care. I don't work for them. So, they can fire a guy that doesn't work for them, they're already fired. Okay, so anyway, we made $100 a week. Okay. Where we made our money was personal appearances and commercials. That's where we made our money. So we got $100 a week.
Well, you also opened a jewelry store that became pretty successful quickly.
Right. Well, that's what was my main job. That's how I actually made a living. The other things sent my kids to college. So we're going to Big Chuck Hoolihan stuff. So it was no problem for me to say no or anything like that. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a good time.
All right, so you get this call, you go see, you get the job. When you showed up, what did Big Chuck have to
Well,
say?
Big Chuck had final decision. I mean, he's the one that told Flynn to pick me, that I'd be there, you know. And the guy that told me this years before that was Dick Goddard. Okay, Dick is my hero boy. He's my buddy. And I was walking down the hall one day, and Dick says, "So what's going on?" I said, "I think I'm going to quit." And he goes, "Why?" I said, "I'm making $12 paying for the park, and I'm not making any money." He goes, "Stick around, kid. You're an heir apparent. You're heir apparent." He says, "I'll tell you what. Anytime I do a personal appearances, I'll tell him you got to take a little job." And he did. I went all over with Dick. And at that time, we were doing haunted houses, you know, left and right. And Hoolihan and Big Chuck would be one night, it would be Dick Goddard and myself the next night. And so it was up to Dick. And Dick. So I did whatever Dick wanted to do, asked me to do, I would do. And obviously the Woolly Bear. Okay, now Woolly Bear is going into the 52nd year or whatever. I've made them all. Every single one of them. And if I make this one, October 5th, I have the record. Because Neil Zerker was with me the whole way, but he died. But even Dick didn't make them all. I mean, he didn't make them all, and Chuck didn't make them all. So I got the record, hopefully.
All right. So literally thousands of skits. So I want to.
We have over 2,000 skits.
I know, 2,000 skits. All right, so let's you know, as I watched these, and I just saw what live folks. Daffy Dan's in the audience up here.
Yes, he is. He beat me to it, Dan.
He showed me on his phone like 20 minutes ago a skit he was in. And so the fact that he can look back and see that. So talk about the process a little bit. You know, thousands of skits. You know, Saturday Night Live is based on skits, right? So, and they have a writer's room, and they spend, you know, weeks coming up with these skits.
Well, we had a writer's room, and it was called Chuck's house. Chuck's office. Okay, I will say this. Chuck was the comedic genius of this whole thing. Over the 2,000 skits, I wrote 6. But I think they're the 6 funniest. But yeah, he would come up with something new every single week. And he would come up with them.
When you say come up with them, how much of it was, you know, in front of the camera, improvisation, and how much?
None.
Oh, really?
No improv. No improv. You had Chuck was a stickler. I mean, you couldn't even deviate A and okay. It had to be exactly the way it was.
So he would write these.
Right.
And
you had to memorize it and do it. But in his offense, he wrote like you talked. I mean, he didn't obviously make me like a Harvard graduate. He made me Harvard Avenue. Okay. So he had that ability to do that, and he knew my limitations in that, which was nothing. I was not talented like Hoolihan. Hoolihan was very, very talented. I mean, if you asked him to do an East Indian accent, he could do it. Sing a sharp C, he couldn't do it. I was just funny, okay, and I could get along with it.
All right, so 2,000, scariest ever.
Okay, the one that's the scariest ever, you're not going to believe this, it was my 4th skit. It was called Troglodytes. Caveman, cavewoman. So I was all excited and everything to do this. We did it at Hinkley Lake, and everything we did was local, and everything we did was with people that Chuck knew or I knew. Like Mike Mason's sitting right here. I did a skit with him when he was a kid with a fire truck. So his father's fire truck. So anyway, we go out there and he explains how it's going to be. That he's going to be the caveman, and he plays a song for me and everything. And at that time it was on tape. It wasn't like film. It was film, not tape. It was film. So anyway, so you have to run in the water, chase the girl. Okay, so I run in the water, no problem. Then we have to do it again, run in the water. Okay. And he goes, okay, just gotta go a little farther. So we run in the water, and it's a boat ramp. So I go, boom. unbeknownst to everybody but me, I can't swim. And Chuck's over directing over here, and everybody's looking over here, and I'm underwater over here. If it wasn't for his son Michael, who was 16 at the time, saw me go, he pulled me out. He pulled me out. But that's the one that sort of was the springboard that everybody talked about at the time. It was the truck race with the big woman and everything like that. And that woman was big. And not only that, that was the first time I met her, and the last time. She lived next door to Chuck and moved the next day. These are all true stories.
All right, so besides chocolate, let's talk about some of your favorites, some of your that are just kind of burned in your memory, some of the skits.
Well, you know what, I liked them all. I really didn't have a favorite. And again, I'm the kind of guy that doesn't have a favorite color, favorite food, favorite anything. I don't have favorites or anything. I have things I like, things I don't like, but I really don't have favorites in everything. Every skit was a good skit, if I walked away not hurt. And we got hurt. We got hurt a couple times. One time I broke Chuck's ribs. And, well, I don't know if you remember the skit. And again, it was one of these things with Chuck, like, if I got hit in the face with the lady's purse or something or got slapped, okay, well, if it wasn't hard enough, he'd say, do it again. And he'd go, you're not hitting him hard enough. And I go, whack. Okay, and a lot of times you'll see these things where I get slapped, it's Chuck's hand coming across, and you think it's somebody else's. But anyway, the skit is a karate skit, and where I'm the announcer, and Chuck comes up, and he's a karate master and everything like that, and he's going to go through all these things, and he's going to teach me. And so I do, and then finally he goes on the ground, and I kick him. Busted his ribs.
Well, he said do it hard.
But we never missed a show for that. I mean, he showed up for the show, and I saw him break his arm playing softball and everything. He showed up the next day.
Holy crackers. All right, so you're able to list them almost automatically. And I know you said you don't have any favorites, but okay, most memorable, ones that just kind of stick out to you that you remember the most.
Well, I really can't say because they all stick out, and they really like that.
Okay, well, it's going to start right now. Just settle in. 2,000 skits.
Like Daffy's skit. Here we are, and again, you got to understand, we could go anywhere we wanted, and you could do this now. Go anywhere we wanted and do anything we wanted. The police would stop traffic. People would wave to you. You could wait. You want to go in the pond in Mall C? Go in the pond in Mall C. Okay. You want to put a bathtub in the middle of 82 and 21? Go put it. You want to drive a car through the stop sign, through the red lights, and say my brother does this. That was in the skit. But the power police would block the streets. I mean, the police would. They were in the skits half the time. But the memorable, every single one we did, to me, was memorable. And
All right.
Daffy's, okay, Daffy's was on St. Clair. Or Superior, I'm sorry, Superior. They're right across from his Daffy Dan shop there and everything like that. And then we did it, he did a thing, the whole thing. And we blowed his smoke bomb up. We smoke all over it and everything like that. And you'd have to see the skit to know, but nobody cared.
All right, one of the things I'm curious about. So you had so many different costumes also, or just outfits, that you guys would get in. Did you hold on to any of those? And, you could have had a museum.
Well, we did until somebody stole them all, but that's all that always happens. But all the stuff that you see, like Chuck sweaters, that's actually Chuck, what he wore in high school. And then people started sending sweaters in. So he had about a half a dozen of them. And people actually sent me sweaters that were my size that they shrunk because they were 100% wool. That I had. And I still have a sweater like that. Right. So, and as far as the wardrobes go, most of this, and if you needed a costume, we'd go to costume shops or something if you needed something very special. But very rarely. Now, you have to understand too, we made our own skits, our own sets and everything like that. We we were a one-man show, or a two-man show. Really, one-man show. Chuck did everything. But I just showed up.
How would you define your different roles? What was your role?
Okay, let me tell you how it worked. Chuck was Mr. Inside, I was Mr. Outside. Okay. Chuck wrote the skits, planned the skits, tell everything like that. And I did all the personal appearance, all the contracts, all the things that had to do outside of Fox 8. So it worked out well. None of us, and we had a deal that unless you tell us, one of the guy tells the other guy, actually Chuck had to tell me, the day he needed off. If not, I would book anything. And if he didn't tell me ahead of time, it could have been his anniversary, it could have been his kid's birthday, it would have been my kid's birthday. We booked them. And so we did a lot of appearances, missed a lot of family time, but that's how my kids got to college.
All right, so one of the other things I really remember is you actually had a lot of stars kind of come on and be performers. Daffy Dan was one of them.
Right.
So do you have any memories?
We had a lot of Hollywood stars. Okay, but you can understand, back then, a long time ago, stars came through town to promote what they were doing. Now the stars are big, everybody goes out there to see them, and they sit down like I'm doing now, and like ABC from Philadelphia will come in, and ABC from Chicago will come in, and interview them every 15 minutes. They don't travel like they did back then. But all I can say is the bigger the star, the better the person. They really understood, and they helped out a lot with us.
Who was one of your favorites? Tell a skit that you did. Describe the skit.
Well, I wasn't in the skit, Muhammad Ali. I mean, he was very, very good with us. I mean, Chuck did the skit with him, but I knew his trainer, and that's how we got in. And Lawrence Welk, okay. And these are all old, okay. Chill Wills was another guy that was pretty cool. The guy in the Dodge Sheriff commercial was a dick.
Was there ever a celebrity that when you suggested a skit just said no?
No.
Really?
They
just
they just did them. For some reason, and again, like Tim Conway.
Yeah.
Fabulous guy, and one of the funniest guys I've ever met. And he could just do things off the top of it. Ernie Anderson, Goulardi, another guy, the oldest hippie you ever want to see. I'll tell you a story real quick. We went out to California to see him. We did a special on him and everything like that. So I never met him, okay, at the time, but Chuck and him were like brothers, like I was with Chuck. So we got to see him, and he lives in Studio City, this beautiful area. Beautiful brick wall with a gate that you have to press a button and open to get in. And you go in, and you look at the house, you go, what happened here? I mean, it's like, okay, it's a stucco house, but he met an aluminum siding salesman, so they put an addition of aluminum siding on. Oh, he met a brick guy? Oh, he put it over there. So and he's got a gardener, and his yard's a mess. It's just a mess. Okay, what's this guy do? He's got little ponies running around. So we go in his house, and the house is okay, but you look and said, here's those Oscar things that they stand like that outside. He stole one. Him and his buddies. Him and his buddy stole one. It was in his living room and everything like that. But he was good. He met us and everything like that. He was a funny guy. So we traveled with him for 3 days because we were doing this skits with him and everything. So we went to see him do Welcome to the Love Boat and all this. So he was doing a commercial for a guy in Florida, and he's doing it in California. And he did the commercial. It's a radio commercial. And the guy says, Ernie, can you punch up Oldsmobile a little bit? No problem. Punches up Oldsmobile. Does it again, and the guy goes, can you do this? He goes, yeah, I can do it. The third time he goes, Ernie goes, listen, asshole. He said, that's the 3 best readings you're ever going to hear. The guy goes, oh, okay, Ernie. That's what he commanded. He was the voice. He was the voice everybody wanted.
Oh, wow. All right, was there ever a celebrity you wanted to kill besides the dick you already mentioned?
I didn't want to kill him. He just wasn't funny. He wasn't happy. He just knew he had to be there. No, there was never one. No, there was never one. First of all, you gotta understand, I get along with anybody. I get along with everybody. And my theory on this is, I could work with you 8 hours a day. I could do this. I don't have to go home with you. I don't have to go drinking with you. I don't have to eat with you. I can work with anybody. I refuse to get mad and this and that. But if I do get mad, look for the obits.
All right, so, it struck me, 2,000 skits. Okay, yeah, that's a lot. There's probably 2,000 some movies, right? I mean, you guys really, right?
Oh, that we shown?
Yeah.
You're talking to the wrong guy. I never watched.
I thought so.
I never watched any of them. And that's the truth. I mean, we taped the show on a Wednesday, Thursday, whenever we taped it, and all you do is tape it, and then they fill in everything after that, and they put the commercials in. They put the movie. You don't see the movie. They give you a breakdown that says every 15 minutes what happened in the movie, so that's how we could talk about it. We know what they're saying. And then it's on Friday night, I was out. What the hell? I'm gonna stay home.
And so, not a single one of the movies. You never watched one.
Nope. You could ask me any movie you want. I never saw it.
And would you watch the show though?
No.
No.
And again, I have to say this, and the reason I say this is I did it. I know what happened. Now, every now and then I'll turn on Sunday night and then watch it, and do some skits and everything like that. And, but again, I was not, I didn't see it because I knew what I did and I did it. Now, I'm the opposite of Chuck there. He watched every single show and made sure he was home at 11:30 to watch every single thing. And he'd write down the thing, and if something happened, he'd call a station right away and say, hey, okay. So, total opposite, guys.
All right. So from 79, when did you open the jewelry store?
80.
All right. And did appearing on the show help the show? I mean, the store.
Yes, it did. I made a mistake by not.
How did you juggle it?
Well, I did it wrong in the fact that I separated them. The show was here and the jewelry store was here. I should have combined them and did skits and this and that with the store and talked about it and everything like that. But I sort of separated. What made it good though is like when people came in the store, they felt relaxed, like they knew me and everything like that. So that helped. That helped a lot. And I'm looking around the audience and everything like that, and I see a lot of people that bought jewelry from me. That I can see right. How many people bought jewelry from me? Raise your hand.
Oh, there you go. How many of you bought drinks from me?
How many bought drinks for me?
All right, let's turn it over, guys. Let's turn it over to the audience here. She jumped right up. Yell out the question.
Okay, do you remember playing a basketball game at Our Lady of Mount Carmel School?
Do you remember playing a basketball game at Our Lady of Mount Carmel?
Right, there's Our Lady of Mount Carmel West is where we played it. Yes.
But someplace there was a student who was at that game, and also the referee threw you in the garbage can.
Is there a night? Well,
You probably run into these people all the time.
and your community center rec guy, he played against us at Mount Carmel West, and he's still there. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You have a picture?
All right.
Well,
He'll sign it afterwards.
Yeah.
It'll increase the value a little bit. Anyways.
Okay, get right here.
Go ahead.
Tell me about making the chase.
Making the chase. Tell them about making the chase.
Okay, the chase, I don't know how you remember this is, I'm in a little automobile, but I'm sitting on the ground and we're just roaming around, and that skit took over 2 years to do. Okay, and the reason is because it was on film, and it was 32 millimeter film, and so the cameraman is way in the back, he's back there, and you're sitting here, and the guy will put his hand down, you move up 2 feet, and he goes click. And you keep doing this, and he keeps moving back, and you keep moving forward, okay? And it's 32 frames a second, is what your eye sees. I think that's what it is, isn't it? Something.
Yes.
Okay, so So you had to move 32 times for 1 second. So anyway, we wore out like 3 pairs of pants until we realized we put leather in the pants, so we just used the same pair over, just kept replacing the leather. And we had to match the day in Cleveland. It had to be the same sunny day, cold day. And when you see the skit, it starts off at my house in Solon, when I come out of the house, and it goes through the driving and everything. And we went through Parma, we went through Hinckley, around the curves, and then we went to North Royalton. That's where we went through the car wash and everything. You been to that car wash? I went through the car wash. I went through a lot of car washes over there, and they all say the same thing. Don't worry, it won't hurt you. Don't worry. And it really does. The only thing I was worried about was I had this chain. I was worried about the chain getting wrapped up in a thing, and me going, whoo! But no, once you get in there, just jump in. It's soft, and you just come out wet and snopey. But yeah, that took 2.5 years to do. And now it was animation. There was animation that did it, and the guy that did it, again, I can't remember his name right now, but he won an Emmy for it. And Harryhausen said that it was a big animator in California. Said it was the best amateur animation he's ever seen.
So when you say 2 years, you mean a day a month?
Whenever we could fit it in, that the weather was right and everything. You can only work 2 hours.
Okay.
You only work 2 hours, so that's all that you could take. With your hands, because your hands are on a concrete scooting up and everything.
Wow.
And again, there was one, police drop traffic. We're moving a second at a time. Police traffic.
Go ahead, yell it out.
Did you ever get any grief for the certain ethnic humor?
Did you ever get any grief for certain ethnic humor?
In Cleveland, no. We did our show in Detroit for 13 weeks. That's all we got. That's all we got was grief. I mean, we had the defamation of Jewish people against us. We had the Poles against us. They didn't understand it like Cleveland did. And Cleveland knows we made fun of everybody, not just anybody, okay? And a certain ethnic is anybody. But yeah, here in Cleveland, no, we never had a problem.
All right, question here. Go ahead, yell it out.
Talk about when you and Chuck fought Tyson.
Talk about when you and Chuck fought Tyson.
Mike Tyson, okay. Well, that could be a whole show all by itself, okay. But the deal was that it was a thing for Cleveland, voter registration. And they wanted to, get out and get voters to come in and vote and everything. So Mike Tyson agreed to put an exhibition bout on. And it happened to be at John Adams Field, which was my high school. Okay. So we had a meet in George Forbes' chambers, and there was Fannie Lewis, and there was Mike Tyson and 2 bodyguards. Right here, 2 bodyguards. And there was Gary D, and myself, and the third guy, big heavy set, DJ, black DJ. No, I'll think. Lynn Tolliver, exactly. Thank you. So we're sitting there, and George is talking, and Gary D, and Gary D's. I fought Muhammad Ali, and I fought Joe Frazier, and George Phillips goes, "Shut the F up." He goes, "There's no cameras here." So anyway, it was going on. So now, Mike gets to talk, Tyson gets to talk, and he says, "How do you feel about this?" And he says to Gary D, he says, "You're an old man." He says, "I'm not going to do it. What the hell with you?" And it goes like that. And he looks at Chuck and he goes, "You're a big man." He says, "I'm going to hurt you." And he looks at Lynn Tolliver. He goes, "You're just a fat little fool." He goes, "I'm not worried about you." And he looks at me and he goes, "I'm going to knock you out." So I'm thinking, this is not good. So anyway, so we had to go to a news conference after that, and it was really cool. They had ESPN, they had everything covering this thing, because it was Mike Tyson. And Chuck and I devised a thing where sitting on stage was like this, okay, so it was like George Forbes, Mike Tyson, and then came another, and then on this side was Gary D, and then myself and Chuck. Okay, so Mike gets up to talk and does his thing, and or actually not Mike, but oh my God, got the high hair. Don King, right? And believe me, I got to tell you, my mind is going lately. But I went to school with Don King's son, Donnie. So that's how I knew Don. So anyway, so we had this thing where when Mike started talking or something like that, I just jump up and fly across the thing, and Chuck grabs my belt, hold me back, and I'm scrambling on the stage like this. And, you're no champ, you're a chump. You're a fool. Listen, and Tyson's going like this. He's looking like this, and Don King's just laughing and laughing and laughing. Okay, so that takes care of that. Now, and on a sidebar of this, every channel in the city, in the country was there except Channel 8. So they were busy, I guess. So the day of the fight, now you have to understand this was very serious in that we had trainers. We have trained. We had to get mouth guards made. We had everything made. And your hands wrapped, everything. I don't like this idea. So we had to upstage them, and so Chuck and I flew in by helicopter, landed on the field and everything. And Kevin Sawyer, who was our boss at the time, was our announcer, and we entered the ring. And there's a couple things before that, like Lynn Tolliver went in the ring and fell down. Okay, and Gary D didn't show up, so then we came in the ring and they announced us, and Chuck was we did it to the Rocky thing, and he was the Polish stallion and everything like that, and I was the Italian pony. And so we go into the ring, and I had we had to train for this. This is really dumb, but. So I had in my hand, I had a hammer and I had a horseshoe. And so they check you and they made me get rid of it and everything like that. So all I wanted to ever do was hit them. That's all I said. And Cecil was my trainer. I said, Cecil, I hit him one time. He goes, I'll tell you what, no problem. He goes, he knows you're not going to hurt him. Okay? He said, so you're going to go in and he's going to back up. He never backs up. He goes forward. He goes, we'll back up with you. As soon as he takes a step back, goes, boom. Okay. I said, all right. So before that, the fight starts, and it was Chuck and I in the ring against him. Okay. So I go first. He just bypasses me, and you hear, hit Chuck right here. That was the end of Chuck, folks. And if you ever watch the video, the fight is here, I'm here, and Chuck is there. So anyway, I go in, and all he did was cuff me from the back of the head, and I was like airborne. And if it wasn't for the ropes, I'd been on a fourth row or something. So anyway, he played with us and everything, and the one time it scared me is he picked me up, put me on his shoulder, and I'm thinking he's gonna break my back. This guy doesn't know how strong he is, okay? So he put me down, okay, so I didn't get hurt. So I got him in a corner one time, and he's like faking like he's hurt. And I went to give him an uppercut. He ducked under my punch. Okay, we measured it after that. 19 inches. That's how agile this guy was. He ducked right under the punch, okay. So now it comes to the point where we're gonna battle it out and I get to hit him. So, and I do, I hit him. And he goes, boom. And I go, boom, boom, boom. But all in all, he was a good guy. He met my kids in the locker room, my son John and his buddies, and I was all excited. John Adams never looked so good. It really looked good. My son goes in and goes, what a dump. So anyway, so Mike Tyson again, he said the same thing. He goes, I'm going to knock your father out.
Outstanding. Great question. There you go. Yell it out. Thank you for the memory.
Thank you for watching. Thank you. The pleasure is mine.
Over there, yell it out. You got it.
Two questions. First question, how many personal appearances you guys have made?
How many personal appearances? 2,000 skits. How many personal appearances?
Well, a lot. Okay, to give you an idea, in our heyday, we probably did 8 a month or 10 a month or something like that. October we did 27, and every day we worked every single day in October. We always worked Friday and Saturday, Friday and Saturday, Friday and Saturday.
Don't mind me asking, maybe, what was the pay rate there?
That's where we made our money. And again, we didn't gouge people. We didn't gouge people. It was $150 a piece, and for a 2-hour period. It's gone up since then, but not much.
And also, remember the little soul man kid?
Yes.
Yeah, who was that guy?
I don't know, but he got picked up for armed robbery. Robbing a bank. That's the dumbest thing. Like, he didn't think nobody'd recognize him. He's this big. And he tried to rob a bank.
It was the $12.
He didn't get the $12. Nobody. Mike never got $12. No, guys have been in the skit. Staffy didn't get $12.
All right, over there, go ahead, yell it out.
John, your relationship with Chuck in your later years. I mean, when did you last talk and when did you last see him?
Well,
Relationship with Chuck. I was going to ask that actually.
we're more like brothers. We're very, very close. I mean, even though we're opposite guys, we're very, very close. And did we argue? Yes, everybody argues. But no, we're the closest of the close could be. I saw him not before he died, but so I went to Florida. I go to Florida in the winter, and he died. He died on my birthday, January 19th, and so I flew back up for the thing, and I used to go to his house periodically and see him. But then I quit. Everybody says, "Why did you quit going to see him?" Well, I wanted to remember Chuck as Chuck, not this guy that couldn't. He always knew me. He always knew me, and I'd go in there and go. Except at the end, I was a little leery because he'd go, "Johnny Boy." He never called me Johnny Boy in his life. But anyway, we would talk. He always would talk about skits and everything like that. But then he obviously passed away, and I, flew up here and did it. And I was shocked that I wasn't shocked that they asked me to do the eulogy because I figured that when the daughter called, they said, "Would you do the eulogy?" And I said yes. I said, "But I'm not the writer." Chuck was the writer. I said, and she said, "But my father would want you to do it." And I said, "All right." So I did it, not knowing I was the only one that spoke. Now on the way there, I turned to my wife and I go, "Shit." She goes, "What?" I said, "Left the notes on the table." And she goes, "Well, you ad-libbed everything else in your life. Just keep on going." And which I did. I mean, I knew what I wrote. And it was okay. It was pretty good.
All right, cool. All right, now, has anybody ever approached you about packaging something to put something else together? What's next for you? I mean, you still working or?
Well, okay. Well, what's history going to be for me in the future? Well, a couple things. One is we're still doing DVDs. DVDs are coming out, and I'm still doing shows, something like tonight. And there's going to be another one coming up September 13th and 14th in Cuyahoga Falls at Vito's Party Center. And it's Lil John presents Adios Muchachos. And what it is COVID hit and we never got to end. Like we used to do a Gallardi Fest or something like that. We never got to end. Chuck and I never got to end. And Chuck got sick. So this show here is Adios. And Adios Muchachos was the last song we sang on our show. That's how we came with this. So if you guys aren't doing anything, come on down. There'll be a lot of memorabilia, a lot of things that you could get. Like Bob Ferguson is there. He does things, miniatures with Big Chuck, Lil John, sculptures, and that there'll be a lot of people there that you'll know from the show. Tim Taylor will be there. There'll be a bunch of. It's going to be an old time thing. And it's adios, folks. This is it. And we'll have DVDs and everything for sale. So it'll be good. And plus, now you're hearing it here first. And this is honest to God truth, that you're hearing it here first. My family doesn't even know. Okay. I wrote a book. Okay. Now, I can't really say I wrote a book. There's a gentleman here in the audience, he's back there, Carl Hendricks is the writer, and Carl interviewed me. I never wanted to write a book. People ask me all the time, and I'm probably 10 years too late writing this, but because I'm old and everything. But he interviewed me, and he said, "I'll send you what I wrote for the interview." And I liked what he wrote. So I called him up. I said, "Write a book for me." And I never did like the idea of sitting down and just talking into a machine or anything like that. But him and I got along very well. I mean, he did it the way I wanted to do it, and the way, I'm hoping the way he wanted to do it. We went to restaurants, went to bars. He put microphones out, and we would talk. He'd do Zoom calls when I was in Florida. And we have this book. It's done, and now we're hoping that we get it published, and it should be out hopefully for Christmas.
All right.
Look forward.
Everyone, Lil John, thank you much. Next week, stories about the front row. The week after that, the definitive story of the two guys from Cleveland who wrote Superman and they got ripped off. You gotta read this. It's called Superboys. So, John, we're very honored that you graced us on the stage tonight. Thank you so much, and look forward to your book.
Thank you very much. And folks, if anybody would like a picture or anything, I have no problem. I have no problem taking pictures. If you need an autographed picture or anything, I have no problem giving it to you. So thank you very, very much, number one, for coming tonight, and number two, for watching a show that we really enjoyed doing.